Hello people, so this is actually your live commentary video because I've kind of gotten bored of making those videos. Instead I wanted to try more making kind of like a project type video. And well, by the title of this video I think you know what I'm gonna try and do. So first off, I want to describe how this will go. I had wanted to see if Shaman was able to run every single dungeon successfully without using any armors and only using a level 1 starting relic and a bit of tomes, because I at least wanted to deal a bit more damage and also tank a bit more, because it feels like it would just be a bit more easier to test it that way. And what my build was looking like was a mix of Acolyte and Summoner for a short time. I know it looks a bit ugly, but trust me, it deals a decent amount of damage when it's in endgame, okay? Just trust me on that. But what my skill points were also looking like was a mix of earth, water, and fire, and a bit of air, so I can cast spells, deal damage, and also tank a bit more than usual, because I don't want to get one-tapped, because that would be bad. So the first dungeon on the list was Decrepit Sewers, and I think most people know how this will go. And same goes with Infested Pit. But Lost Sanctuary made me consider my own build, because although I was able to deal lots of damage and kill things off very quickly, it was very mana heavy, and the healing that I was getting out of it was very minimal, so the only thing that was really actually killing me within that dungeon was my own totem, since it was siphoning out all my health and I wasn't able to heal it back. So I just opted to change for a full Summoner build, since Summoner isn't actually really that all too mana heavy, and it also deals a decent amount of DPS, so you know. So after I successfully ran Lost Sanctuary, the next dungeon I had to do was Underworld Crypt, which I still hate this dungeon, by the way, and the only reasons why is because I cannot do most of my challenges in there. But otherwise, for me hating the dungeon a bunch, the challenge went pretty well. I ran that thing pretty smoothly, pretty easily. The only exception that I had was the boss fight, since that took a while, because my max amount of DPS was probably around 150. I didn't really keep track. I guess I can look in editing or something like that, but otherwise, it still took a bit. Satiswap Tomb kind of fell underneath this same issue where the dungeon was pretty well, it ran pretty smoothly. This really is just giving me all of the worst things to go through. But the boss had taken a while because of my lackage of DPS, which is going to be a reoccurring issue here. Now, the real issues of my DPS being very low started to show on Ice Barrows, because there was a lot of mobs at one point during that run area, and I got overwhelmed by enemies, even though I am the AoE class. But the reason why I got overwhelmed was because, well, I wasn't dealing enough damage to actually kill the mobs, so that was my first death throughout this little testing that I'm doing. But that didn't mean that I was just gonna stop it right here, right now, because I was able to kill the mobs, but it just took a bit of time. So on my second run, I was able to play my cards a bit more carefully, and I was able to actually finally get up to the boss fight, and I was also able to kill the boss because I was positioning myself and having a good amount of mana management. So after I did Ice Barrows, next was Undergrowth Ruins, which I feel like if you put some things together, this probably wouldn't go very well for me, and I also kind of put that together, so yeah, it didn't go that well. So for starters, that first room was that escort room, which you have to escort some kind of like key guardian throughout the room, but it just went. It went, okay, because although I wasn't able to kill any of the mobs, I was sure as hell able to keep them away from it long enough up until it opened up that door to the second room, which I ran into another party, and I kind of abused that to go through that first token room. And the next token room, I decided to try and do myself, but this is where I kind of ran into an issue where it was almost impossible without camping on a ledge to kill them, because I wasn't able to tank the mobs to deal a maximum amount of DPS, and these mobs had so much health that their own HPR, their own regen, was outdoing my DPS, so I wasn't able to kill the mobs, and this is kind of where it kind of ended. So all in all, I think I can get a level 106 Shaman with only mythic tomes, and a level 1 weapon up to Undergrowth Ruins is pretty good. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.